A few nights ago, I dreamed of something that didn't stay in my head, it became real. I'm from Cali, Colombia. This is the first time I'm writing to share what happened, a nightmare that turned into a waking nightmare. One night, around 10 p.m., I went to sleep like any other evening. Everything was normal. When I finally fell asleep, I started dreaming, only it felt so real. I saw myself in a small rural street near a village, next to my partner. Everything was completely empty and dark. In the dream, we were trying to find a nearby store. In the dream, it must have been around 11 p.m. when we finally found a small store lit by just one tiny candle. From the darkness, a woman appeared. She seemed scared even while serving us. When we asked to buy something so we could call, she looked at us with terror in her eyes and her voice, and told us to leave, saying she was already coming. We couldn't even ask who she meant. Then she began closing everything quickly and went inside, and the world went completely dark. I kept asking myself who she was talking about. My boyfriend went to his motorcycle and, in a voice full of fear and trembling, told me, "Go. Let's go." I felt an awful, freezing chill. When I tried to move toward him to get on, I saw something from the hill, where all the houses were, coming toward us. It was a silhouette, like an old woman. I couldn't see her feet. She didn't look like she was running. It looked more like she was flying, low to the ground, moving with supernatural speed straight toward us. I panicked. I got on the motorcycle as fast as I could, and my boyfriend started it immediately. When I finally found the courage, I looked back to see if that strange silhouette was still following. But to my surprise, the old woman had stopped moving. Right after that, she began making a horrible sound, like a terrifying, agonized scream. In that exact moment, I woke up from a sudden jolt. I had woken up drenched in terror, but what was most shocking was that I hadn't woken up because I finally stopped dreaming. It was the screams that woke me up. At 3 a.m., already awake, I could still hear them clearly outside my house. I went to where my mom was and found her praying. I asked if she could hear it too. She told me, about an hour ago there was a lady hiding in the front yard, right in front of the house. My panic felt like it shot through my body. How could a nightmare I'd had only seconds earlier, with those horrible sounds, have been real? There was someone right outside our home. My mom and I started praying together for a long time. The truth is, we didn't have the courage to look out the window to see if the woman was still there. The next morning, we woke up like we always did. My mom and I looked at each other, not knowing what to say. Then someone knocked on the door. My mom opened it and we saw our neighbor from the next house, asking if we had heard those things too. We just looked at each other, then went out to the front yard with our neighbor. Almost all the neighbors were outside, talking about the strange and terrifying screams from the night before. I don't know why it was me who dreamed about that old woman and that presence. I'm 21 years old, and I've always been skeptical, but ever since then, I've kept dreaming about her. Tonight, I finally decided to write because this is exactly what happened again. Last night, precisely tonight, I dreamed about her once more. This time I was at my partner's house, after a long weekend together. We were exhausted and fell asleep. That's when the dream started. I was walking around my neighborhood. In the distance, I saw a young man calling my name and gesturing for me to come closer. As I approached, I recognized him, an ex-boyfriend from when I was about 15 or 16. But even in my dream, my mind kept asking, what is he doing here? He died just last December. Still, I walked toward him. He only smiled and asked normal questions, like he was trying to start a conversation. But something about him felt unusual. The smile was huge, contagious. The way life looked on his face while he spoke to me was unbelievable. I was still shocked, thinking, how is that possible if he's dead? I answered him anyway. I talked to him, and I was amazed to see him there in front of me. I don't know. Maybe it was the energy he gave off through that smile and his joy, because I ended up smiling back too. Seeing him filled me with happiness. We had dated briefly, and then we decided to just be friends. He moved to Spain, and each of us lived our own life. Years later, I found out he had fallen into a coma after an issue he had there. A few days later, he died. The news hurt me a lot. He had been a good boyfriend, a good friend. All that was running through my mind when, for some reason, I felt compelled to ask him, "Are you okay? What are you doing here? How are you here?" He let out a big, contagious smile that made me smile back and told me, "I'm doing very well." I was so happy. I don't know why, but I wanted to take a photo, like capturing that moment, saving it as a memory, without realizing I was still inside a dream. When I looked at the photo, when I searched for it on my phone to see it again, I saw the horrible, demonic old woman standing behind him. I woke up confused again, at 3 a.m., with that awful, freezing chill. As I told you, to this day I keep dreaming about that woman. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for having the trust to share this story.